Hi, this is Ken from Ken's Horticultural Services. Today we're looking at rocks and fabric. And here we're going to look down here and see that this is a nice gravel material that's on top of a type of fabric here. There's two types. This is a felt. Way down underneath here, I don't know if you can see that, but there's actually a woven landscape fabric under there. And so this is a common practice that's used by a lot of landscapers to help suppress weeds. It doesn't always work, you know, it gives you a little bit of a false sense of security for the first couple of years, but after time goes on, you start to get soil and you get leaves that build up in the rock, and it starts to develop soil on the surface, which of course a lot of the weeds come in by seed, and then they'll love to get into these rocks and grow on the surface. So there's already starting to get some types of weeds that are growing, and they're just growing right in the rocks here. And you know, those dandelions here, they're just sort of sitting on the surface. Other sorted weeds, and I guess if we look down the other way, we'll see that there's still a fair number of weeds popping up in and around the plants here and there. So there's grasses and there's all kinds of weeds that show up. So the thing with rocks and landscape fabric is that you got to remember, landscape fabric, you know, there's only certain types of uses that it has. That anytime you get annual weeds come in by seed, and they come from the top. So when those seeds land on the surface, they're just going to work their way in and grow on whatever material you have, even on top of fabric. Perennial weeds are things like quackgrass and bindweed. They just creep along underneath the fabric, and then they shoot up right inside your plant. And this plant here is an example. This is actually an alfalfa plant, and if you dug way down inside, you'd see there actually is a spirea there. So this plant was probably underneath there, or some roots, and it just shot up inside of that plant. So you got to watch that. With fabric, it has its pros and its cons, so you got to think about it. If you just use a nice layer of nice compost on the surface, that makes it real easy to garden. You can go in, you can pull weeds, you can clean it up, you can transplant plants from point A to point B, you can divide your grasses, you can move perennials, you know, you can actually garden in it. So a little bit, maybe a bit more weeding, at least initially, but the key is when you first make a new landscape, stay on top of it, don't let any weeds grow, and make that your game plan. If you keep getting too many weeds, contact a professional on how to get on top of those weeds, and then remulch it with a nice layer of clean mulch. And the recommended products, always nice composted products. So again, stay tuned to KelownaGardens.com for more tips on mulching and other gardening ideas.